This is Johnny Detroit Series 1. What we're going to do is we're going to be taking questions via email, something on the forum that we find, and doing it via video to archive. The question today, and the first one of the Ask Johnny Detroit series, is coming from forum poster Surfer3. And he asks, how much money does it take to move a CBB line? So Surfer3, rather than speculate, what we're going to do is we're going to call an offshore gentleman who actually was one of the head guys over at Five Dimes and is now working at a decent sized credit shop over in Costa Rica.
Good evening. This is Albert.
Yeah, can I speak with Mario, extension 2003?
One second, sir. This is Mario.
Mr. Mario, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, I'll tell you what though, man. If I'm down a bunch of money and they put me on hold, that hold music you guys have would make me want to fucking commit suicide. Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know how these professionals work.
Yeah, exactly. Just to preface is, you were the man over at Five Dimes. Now you're over at a credit shop. You know the business inside and out. So I figured, who else to ask at 10:23 at night except the guy who's watching the board and all the overnight stuff till 2 in the morning. So a guy says, how much money does it take to move a CBB line? Some of the initial answers we have is, depending who it is, if it's a known loser, no amount. If it's a sharp better, half the limit can move a number. Someone else says it's also based on the timing. For example, they said if you hammer a small conference Friday afternoon for a Saturday line, someone like Bet Crystal might move, which I believe, because I know when I used to middle sometimes, if I bet early in the morning, I could actually would move the Chris line a half a point if I was betting a decent amount. But if you bet at the same time Saturday, the odds it won't do shit unless you're somebody respected. So let's look at it twofold. Let's go back to the Five Dimes day. So obviously, a large post up, a little bit of credit action. You're sitting in the office. And so I'm looking, there's two different things. There's one, you're watching Don Bester Sports Options. You got all the big boys up there, the credit shops that cater to the sharps. What books are you going to watch and look at that if they move, you move, regardless of where your action is? And real quick for everyone who's listening to this is, if you watch a lines feed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mario, is even if you're hammered, say let's look at a game that's going on right now. So we got Boston-Denver goes in about 10 minutes. 74% of the public is on Boston. If you get a late steam bet from someone you know is a mover, and they're hammering Denver plus the points, and then you see Bet Chris move, even though maybe all of your money is on Boston, I'm assuming you're going to move regardless where the money is at, because you don't want to be the only book out there laying that off number. Am I right on that?
Absolutely. In the book I'm in now, we move lines based on wagers. We have just about every sharp guy in the place. Whenever before the line moves, we get moves up to 20 minutes before games, before it moves on either screen, non-vest or sports options. So when it comes to relative amounts, it doesn't matter. I mean, some guys bet 250, some guys bet 5,000. The sharp guys, depending on what package they're in.
Yeah, I remember when you were at Dimes, you used to tell me that you had a guy. Five Dimes is known to have all those off like unknown boxers fighting in some basement in California, but you guys used to post lines on. I remember you told me at one time you had a guy, and people always assume the sharp guys are betting millions, but you have your guy who's grinding out 60 grand a year, betting a couple $100 a game, but he knows certain things. And I remember you used to tell me that Five Dimes had a guy that used to, just kill it in boxing. So like you
Absolutely.
said, so he made it.
Absolutely.
So let's go to five.
Actually, the guy in boxing, his average bet was to win $100 if he really liked it, and he bet $50 if it was a bet he semi-liked.
And you guys,
the guy was up $20,000 in a couple years.
And you guys moved that, and then Pinnacle and everything would copy you. So a guy betting $1,500 was actually moving boxing lines, and and everyone seeing the screen move is thinking it's like Billy Walters or the tens of thousands of dollars being bet, and it's some guy who just likes to bet, good at boxing, and he's throwing $100, but he's that sharp.
Absolutely.
So you're at 5 dimes, you're watching the screen. So let's go through both scenarios, or a couple scenarios. So you're at 5 dimes, you see the Greek move. Without looking at your action or whatnot, is your initial gut reaction overseeing your guy watching the board to move the line?
Well, generally, the Greek is slow to move on the screen. I'm not sure if it's their system or how they do it. Maybe they keep their line, they move their line slowly. When the Greek moves, I definitely tell them to review. I tell them to check everyone else, and then a lot of times I would tell them to check their sites because sometimes the feeds don't hit Don Best or now we have sports options. They don't hit sports options as quickly as they move them on their website. So a lot of times I would have told them review. I would have all my linesmen with different sites about, okay, what does this place have? What does this place have? And then if we saw someone that had moved with Greek, then we would go ahead and move to try to beat the people coming in to chase the line.
So we're at 5 dimes still before we jump ahead to where you're at now.
Right.
So we have two other scenarios. No line movement. A known beard or a known sharp guy comes in and bets the game. Is it moved regardless of what he bets? Take the boxing guy out, for example, or is it based on the amount? So sharp guys usually you're moving regardless, even if the screen's not moving?
Absolutely. If we've identified a person as a player, as a sharp player, we'll definitely move the line based on him. Like I said, so we don't get caught by any of the chasers who chase the screen or any of the guys who are being paid to move for these big players.
All right, so now let's go with one more 5 dimes. Is you have a public better. What was the average amount that it took for a non-sharp guy to move the line, or did you guys hold steady regardless of the amount?
It kind of depended on the sport. If it was for example, if it was a college basketball game, we wouldn't move for a $500 or $1,000 bet. Some guys for $5,000, if there's even no loser, we won't even move the line. Now, like I said, if a guy starts going on a winning streak and we haven't reviewed him, we will move first, review his wagers, and then maybe we'll go move back. But normally when it was a square player, especially in post up, we didn't really sweat the amount.
Did it matter? Like, for example, the one guy said is someone's betting a small conference game that's a Saturday game, but they're betting it Friday, and they're betting, say, a dime. Does that dime mean more being bet on Friday versus being bet on Saturday when you got more volume and more knowledge of what's going on with the line? Does it based off also the time of when they're betting the game? Like if someone's, say, betting a college football total on a Tuesday for a couple thousand, does that mean more in factoring and possibly moving the line than versus them betting it Saturday when you guys have a better grasp of where all the sharp action's at?
When it comes to the smaller conference games, at 5 dimes we always kept the limits low until the day of the game. So a lot of times we did, for example, in college football, we had one guy who played the $50 on the extra games that we would put up, and he was very sharp, so we would move on his $50 bet. Then day of the game, we would take $250 bets from other guys and not even move the line.
So let's fast forward to where you're at now. I know you guys are taking tons of sharp action. I don't want to kill some of my sources, but I got a feel for some of the people that are tracking you on the screen because I'm seeing, most people are watching Chris or watching the Greek, like you said, and I got some couple off the wall places, and I'm seeing total moves or game moves, long before anyone else. So where you're at now, I'm a total square, and I throw 5 dimes on a game. Do you give a shit?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
10 dimes. What would it take for a square to move the line where you're at now?
Jokingly, an act of God, probably. Now, like I said, if someone comes in and bets $20,000, and a couple places on the screen are that direction on the line, say if the line was 4, there's a couple places at 4.5. We may give a 4.5 because we took such a large bet, like a $20,000 bet. But normally, when it comes to squares, we don't even worry about them because we know we're going to get the right side before everyone else does.
Okay, and I know you're watching the board right now, and I got to cut it close with you. Is last thing is I'm the new Lions guy. You're running the place, say 5 dimes, for example, a pretty well-known place. You're leaving for the day, and you're leaving me in charge of everything. What's the one bit of advice that you'd give me to make my decisions on moving the line? Or 2 bits of advice, we'll say.
If I were watching the screen, I would say I would watch. Well, that's pretty tough to tell you overnight because a lot of times the limits at most.
Say during the day.
Low.
Say
Yes.
some hot chick calls you for a booty call, and you're gonna call some Tico in a taxi to come pick you up. And there's no way you could turn this chick down because she's smoking hot. So you leave me in charge, and you look and say, "Hey, don't fuck everything up. This is what I need you to do. What do I need to do?"
Well, I would tell you probably watch Pinnacle, Catalina. If you're watching Don Best, I'd say watch Pinnacle, Catalina, and Five Dimes. Of course, you know, I respect them because I know how they work over there. Like I said, it depends on certain sports. Some books move. Some books on Don Best move before others depending on the sport. Like for example, jazz doesn't move very often. Their lines they stay pretty they stay the same. But whenever they move, we have a group of guys who always come in and play with us. So
Right.
if I see jazz move, I'll move that line because I know that those sharp guys will come in and play. So basically, I would just tell you to keep your eyes actually on our wager screen, our bet ticker when the bets are coming in. To keep your eye on that. You don't necessarily have to move on air, but if everyone moves, you move. But if it's just several places, if we don't get bets from our list of sharp guys that I gave you, then I would say don't move it.
Mario, I appreciate as always. I really appreciate. I know you're at work right now, taking the time out. And if anything else comes up, I'll shoot you an IM, and hopefully your expertise we could share with the rest of the world, because there's not too many people in the offshore that are as attainable as you and could share your knowledge. So I really appreciate all your help, and hopefully the satellite gets fixed so you can watch the rest of that West Virginia game.
I appreciate that. Well, take care, and anytime you need any help, give me a ring.
I appreciate it, brother. You take care. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Well, that's it from Johnny Detroit for Ask Johnny Detroit. Thanks to Mario over at various places. You could always email me at johnny@pregame.com with your questions. We could reach out to handicappers, middlers in Vegas, sportsbook operators, you name it. If you have a question, I'll try my best to find an expert and not try answering it myself and thinking I know everything. But I do know a lot of people. So from johnny@detroitpregame.com, Ask Johnny Detroit Series 1. I want to thank Mr. Surfer3 for the question. And that's going to do it. See you next time.